I was walking quickly to get to Birdman, but right behind Birdman was Jim Jones. I'm walking mad quickly, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the way Jim seen it was like I'm walking up on him. I swear. Birdman, and I see Jim Jones. And I'm like, oh shit, Jim, what up? Now, Jim, what up back at me is a different type of what up. He's like, nigga, what up? And I'm like, whoa. I'm gonna give Jim his credit. Jim was the oldest YN in the building, but he was on YN timing. I'm gonna keep it a beat. I go over to say, yo, Jim, we gotta get up and we gotta go do the interview. That's what I'm like, we gotta go do the interview. I don't know if it's because Young Boy was on stage. Jim Jones turned to a YN on him. Jim Jones was like, yo, hold on, let me holler at you, man. Let me holler at you. Jim is like, yo, listen, man. I gotta talk to you. I'm like, all right, what up, what's good? He kept asking, he's like, yo, do y'all think the shit y'all do online is cool? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm kind of confused, honestly. I'm legit confused. I didn't get too much info out of him, but he mentioned 6ix9ine. He said, whatever 6ix9ine. Then he's like, yo, y'all gotta know, yo, it ain't safe when niggas is playing with me like that. And I'm thinking about, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So I kept trying to ask him, I said, what me and 6ix9ine gotta do with you? Or what I gotta do with if you and 6ix9ine got something? Rappers are the best that if they can't find the person they don't like, someone else inherits. So it's like Dave Free seeing me and Dave Free saying, yo, well, I'll never see Drake ever in life, so let me tell you why I'm mad at Drake. Okay. I think I'm like, yo, is he mad at, like, how is he mad at 6ix9ine and coming to me? Y'all two were 9 Trey Bloods. I was never a 9 Trey Blood, and I don't want to be.
After Jim Jones stepped to him, DJ Akademiks been moving like he wants some kind of get back, even if he won't say it outright. In his recent live streams, AK keeps calling Jim a bozo, clowning him as an old New York 18-year citizen, which was wild to hear. It really feels like AK is still heated about getting approached at that NBA YoungBoy show, especially since the crew he walked in with didn't lift a finger to help when things got tense. From the outside, it looked like if Jim really wanted to press the issue in Brooklyn that night, he had all the space in the world. No hesitation. People were even joking like, bro, Jim could have had multiple Timberlands landing across your face, champ. And honestly, AK looked embarrassed at how none of his people stepped in for him. So now the real question becomes this. Is AK even safe talking reckless about Jim Jones when both of them live right there in New Jersey? AK's been online acting like he's ready for smoke with Jim for some mysterious reason, even though Jimmy already pressed him about a month ago at that same NBA YoungBoy show. Why is AK still stirring the pot with somebody who already checked him face to face? To me, it feels like AK never shook that moment off at all. AK still looks shook from that whole run-in with Jimmy, like the energy followed him home. You can hear it in the way he talks. That situation got under his skin heavy. Jimmy basically told him, if I wanted things to go left, they would have gone left, and AK been carrying that line around like a weight ever since. He brought it up on his stream and later on Vlad TV, but it was a stream where he slipped, acting confused like he didn't understand how it even started. But deep down, he remembers every second, and it still bothers him bad. Now it's like he wants some type of payback, so he's trying to slide into any angle that makes him look bold, calling Jimmy a grown man going through a second childhood, which is the same thing certain fans been screaming ever since Jimmy tried to compare his catalog to Nas. Folks drag him for that, claiming he was disrespecting Nas's legacy and trying too hard. Then Max be coming home reopened a whole different wound. Everybody knows Max and Jim had tension over that old Bird Gang contract Max never rocked with. Max even snapped back then saying he was with Jimmy's girl Chrissy, which turned everything into a circus. Max was out here saying he smashed Jimmy's girl Chrissy and that she touched it in Miami, all that wild talk he threw out back then. He even said he was gonna delete Jimmy's son, who was literally just a young kid in 2008, and that made the situation spin out fast. He dropped a track called Pootie, and things got ugly from there. Max and Jimmy stayed at odds for years until Max squashed it from prison. But even now, you can feel the leftovers of that tension all through the culture. Nowadays, people quick to side with anyone standing against Jim Jones except AK, and that's where his whole problem begins. Akademiks is in a position where even when he tries to win, he finds a way to lose because of his own behavior. You can't do what he just did recently, talking to a 15-year-old on stream in a weird way, and expect the public to line up behind you. That made a lot of folks look at him sideways instantly. He already turned people off with his rants, and now is making it worse with every new outburst. And in the middle of all this chaos, he still keeps poking at Jim Jones like nothing ever happened. So even if he tried linking up with Jimmy on some surprise alliance, people would still lean toward Jimmy over him because AK already burned way too many bridges. When it comes to AK, 6ix9ine, and Wack 100, folks choose their sides real carefully, and AK is the last person most people want to stand behind right now. AK took the disrespect to a whole new level, calling Jimmy a rat and stacking on all these extra labels like he's trying to score points online. But the real question is this: where was that same energy when he saw Jim Jones in person? He didn't say a single one of those words to Jimmy's face. He was standing there calm, polite, and making sure he didn't end up looking like Ja Rule did after that whole situation at the Brandy show in Brooklyn. If that NBA YoungBoy moment had gone even a little bit wrong, AK could have caught that exact same treatment. And he knows Jimmy got serious history in that same arena. So why is AK suddenly yelling and talking wild now? Because it sounds like that privilege hit his bloodstream. And by privilege, I mean straight Hennessy, the kind of courage that comes in a bottle. Once that liquid courage kicked in, he jumped online talking reckless about Jimmy like he forgot how their first encounter really went. AK hopped on his stream acting bold, telling Jimmy he's old, saying he needs to wizen up and claiming that at almost 50 he shouldn't be moving the way he moves. He's basically trying to lecture Jimmy on how to act, when in reality he didn't have none of this smoke when they were standing chest to chest. Now his online charged up, shouting into the MIC, telling Jimmy about himself like he's suddenly the tough guy in the whole conversation. Now sure, some folks are going to laugh at AK's jokes, and the people who already can't stand Jimmy will nod along, but they still don't vibe with AK being the one saying it. That's the whole problem. Akademiks keeps trying to win, but every time he tries, he ends up looking like he's losing even harder. He's trying to slide in with the safe crowd that stays into Jimmy. And yeah, a lot of people been against Jimmy for years. Ever since that situation with True Life back in the day, certain folks stopped taking Jimmy serious, especially after the Rucker incident.
Are New York City gentlemen in their 40s and 50s having, I won't even call it a midlife crisis, but they're literally having like this like almost stunted development. All the 50-year-old men who were gangsters and cool dudes back in the day seem to have the most childish ideals. They're all dressing like they're YNs, acting as if they are children, and they're still playing the same childish games as if they were 14 and 15. Now, Jim Jones, who we all know, he is what we call a senior citizen. We just have to be honest. Jim Jones is someone living out a fifth childhood, and it's okay. I don't necessarily mind the drip. I just would hope he would use some Beijing, because I think the gray hair peppered around the tight jeans and muscle shirts throws me off. That's it. Other than that, I actually do. I like Jim Jones not only for his music. I like the fact that Jim Jones has shown that no matter how old you are, he's always fit in shape. And even though he might need to work out them legs, he's in the gym all the time, obviously, right? And I actually do like that, right? Now, one person I thought wouldn't be added to this list is Fabulous. Now, Fabulous is one of those guys, you know, I've always said I've listened to Fabulous music for over 10 years, and I don't know one thing about this. He got all the punchlines, for everything, but I've never thought his music was a great reflection of giving me an insight into his world, and maybe I've just listened differently than other people. But Fabulous is also one of those people that when I see him on Instagram, I kind of be like, yo, is he trying to dress like a YN too? I can't tell. Now, I like Fabulous. You know what I mean? Fabulous is always like, at a point in New York City history, he was like, to me, the coolest guy. He was always seen as like the coolest guy from New York, right? However, I just want to, let me see, how old is Fabulous? Fabulous is 48 years old. These days when I'm seeing Fabulous, you know, by the way, there's nothing wrong with trying to dress well, but at certain points, I'm like, Fab serious? Like, I can't really tell. And I don't want.
Then things got even messier when that whole Rico wave hit, and the wiretap phone call with Mel Matrix went viral. People jumped straight to assumptions, claiming Jimmy was doing something shady, when in reality, nothing in that call proved any of that. It was just the internet spinning things because they didn't understand the full context. Then you had 6ix9ine running around trying to paint Jimmy as a rat, which only made the narrative even uglier. So with all these rumors still floating around, Jimmy was already fed up. That's why he pressed AK the second he saw him. Jimmy was tired of hearing his name dragged, and AK kept giving a platform to people who were talking wild about him. So now AK is shocked that Jimmy snapped back, but is the one boosting all these voices like he didn't see this coming. So when one of these people finally fires back, AK tries to act like he had nothing to do with it. But that's not how this works. He's guilty by association because he's the one giving the platform for all the disrespect to spread. He can't pretend his hands are clean when he's literally the one broadcasting the chaos to the world. And now he wants to talk wild about Jimmy even though he wasn't talking like that when they were face to face. When Jimmy stepped to him, AK was trying to find some middle ground so he could walk out of the Barclays Center without catching any trouble. He made sure he stayed respectful because he didn't want to leave that building hurting. That's the truth. But now that he's home, comfy and safe behind the MIC, he's suddenly calling Jimmy a bozo and a loser like he's been bold the whole time. If that's how he really felt, why didn't he say it in the moment? Champ? He didn't feel secure enough to talk like that in person, and that's exactly why he's popping off online instead. And what makes it even crazier is that both of them live in New Jersey. Jimmy got a spot in Jersey and AK got a spot in Jersey, so it's not like they're worlds apart. With them living that close, nothing is stopping another run-in from happening again. And that's the part AK should really be thinking about. Because he knows all of this can spin back on him at any moment, which is why he keeps trying to push this I'm just reacting angle like it protects him. But people see straight through that. When you keep throwing out disrespect, boosting messy clips, and adding your own slick comments on top, you're part of the chaos whether you admit it or not. You can't act innocent while pouring gasoline on the situation. The thing is, Jimmy comes from a world where your words actually matter, and AK comes from a world where everything is content. That's the real clash. Jimmy takes disrespect personal while AK treats it like entertainment. He can turn it on and off whenever he feels like it, but the people involved don't see it as jokes. Now AK is acting confused about why Jimmy keeps circling back to him. But what did he expect? He's been calling Jimmy old, washed, lame, and everything else under the sun. And now he wants to pretend he doesn't understand why Jimmy is heated. And since both of them are living in Jersey, this isn't some faraway online beef. It's close enough that anybody could end up in the same spot without warning. So AK better decide if he's really ready to stand on all this talk or if he's going to fold the second Jimmy steps to him again. Because one thing about Jimmy, he ain't into internet back and forth. He's into real-life conversations. And that's something AK keeps forgetting every single time he turns that MIC on. Right now, things could get real messy for Akademiks, especially after Meek Mill invited him to that Meek and Friends Fest out in Philly. If AK had actually shown up, it could have gone left fast because a lot of the people who moved together out there are already looking at him sideways. And honestly, it feels like AK might be walking into something he doesn't fully understand. He might be in deeper trouble than he even realizes. Yeah, he's cool with certain artists who are connections, but AK himself doesn't come from that world, and has been platforming a lot of stories that clash with what some of these people stand on. When you keep putting out narratives that hurt someone's reputation or play with their real-life image, somebody's eventually going to feel a way about it. And once that happens, there can be consequences that don't come with warning labels. That's just the truth. You can't stir up the streets and act surprised when the noise circles back to your doorstep. But what do you think is going to happen next with AK? Is he stirring up something he can't walk back from? Is he pushing this entire situation way too far? Because right now, it looks like he's poking at people who don't play internet games and don't care about who's trending. This whole thing could explode into something he never expected if he keeps talking wild. And all it takes is one wrong moment for everything to shift. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this situation is getting wild fast. And before you dip out, make sure you subscribe to Drip Zen, share this video, drop a comment, and smash that like button. And if you really want to help this video blow up, click the Hype This Video button. It's free for you, but it means a lot to me. Thank you.